What's good, you guys? What is going on, y'all? Happy Sunday, y'all. You know, when you're a chosen one, the idea is to steal your light. The idea is to make you feel like everything is all your fault. The idea is to put the blame on you for everything. You'll never have it easy when you're a chosen one. It doesn't matter how hard you try, you'll never be able to please the people around you. A lot of times you're wondering how you ended up in this position. You were chosen. And guess what? There's nothing you can do about being chosen. When God chose you, He chose you for a reason. And the people are never going to understand that when you stop doing the things you used to do, when you decide to change, when you give up old habits and stop hanging around the wrong people, when you have to let go of your family, because you're going to have to let go of your family, if not some, all of them. It's all about being chosen. You're going to have to walk away from these people whether you want to or not. And a lot of times you don't understand the struggle. You don't understand why this is happening to you. You were chosen. Chosen ones, a lot of y'all don't understand that your calling is bigger than what it is. Your calling is more than meets the eye. You have a job to do. And the people around you are never going to understand you. Their job is to dim your light or put it out. That's the goal here. You're around a lot of dark energy. You are going to be targeted. People are going to constantly keep coming at you. You're never going to understand why certain things are happening to you. Your calling is a lot bigger, y'all. It is. And you're going to get it the most from the ones closest to you. The people who say they love you the most are going to be the ones that hurt you. That's right. When you start to elevate, when you start to understand your calling, when you understand that you have a job to do, you're never going to understand until you understand what you have to do. And people are going to constantly play with you. Mind games, manipulation, gaslighting. All of these things happen to chosen ones. Narcissists flock to chosen ones. And the game plan is to dim your light. And that's the thing as chosen ones, right? You always want to fix people. You want to see them level up. You want to see them do better. And a lot of times, chosen ones, what happens? We end up with narcissists. This is why you have to start to walk in your power. Understand your calling. Understand what you're supposed to be doing. And like I said, it's going to be the ones closest to you. They don't want you to elevate. Narcissists hate when you find out who you really are. The job is to keep you from finding out who you really are. That's the goal of a narcissist. You see, when the narcissist chose you, they understood who you were. They saw in you what you didn't see in yourself. And that's the thing. A lot of us can't see what we have going on, who we really are. And we have a greater calling, that God has chosen us to do a job. This is why it's not easy. The higher the level, a different devil. This is how it is when you're a chosen one. This is why we get abused all the time. This is why we're always in turmoil. As empathic as we are, we're always trying to fix people, right? While they're tearing us down. Chosen ones, your job isn't to fix anybody, especially those who don't want to be fixed. Every time you deal with someone who you're trying to fix, who you're trying to show, who you're trying to level up and get them to understand there's a better way, you lose yourself. And it's always going to be with people who are narcissistic. People who just genuinely don't care. People who are trying to stop you from walking in your true purpose. Because you have a purpose. You have a job to do. A lot of times, y'all, we just want to see people do better, right? We just want those who don't understand the things they're doing is wrong. Or they do understand, they just don't care, right? We end up in these relationships with these individuals who abuse us and treat us with disdain. Y'all, they hate us. They hate you for being you. They hate you for your true, authentic self. Something you can't change, something you have no control over is what they hate you for. Make it make sense. Y'all, it was so quiet out here before I started this video, right? And the moment I get off into talking about chosen ones, there's the birds. You can't make this stuff up. But I need for y'all to understand that when you're a chosen one, don't expect things to go right. Don't expect things to be smooth sailing. Don't expect to just get in situations and things just work out. Don't expect to have all these great relationships, all these wonderful friendships, all these loving family members. When you're a chosen one, it doesn't happen like that. You will walk in your calling. You will walk in your purpose. You will do what God has called you to do, because nothing else is going to feel right. You're always going to feel out of place when you're a chosen one and you're not doing what you've been called to do. Right? Natural born narc slayers. That's what you are. You're supposed to rise up out of this thing. It's not going to be easy, y'all. And the road that you have been on already, has it been easy? We all know that it hasn't. We're constantly fighting darkness. No matter what you do, you're constantly fighting darkness, right? It's like it follows you around. It's like it doesn't matter how hard you try, you're constantly fighting darkness. You have to stay rooted in prayer. You have to remember who you are, know your worth, and know that God has given you a job to do. And until you do it, it's going to be rough. Listen, when you find out you're a chosen one, things is going to get tough, because it's not easy walking in your true power, walking in your true authentic self, right? It is not easy. It wasn't meant to be easy. The road is narrow, y'all. And a lot of us don't understand why we have it so hard. That's because we have not walked in our power. We have not walked in our true purpose. We don't realize who we really are. We haven't gotten this far. After being with the narcissist, let me tell you something. You realize a lot. And you know what? There are some things that you gain from being with the narcissist. You know, after leaving a narcissist, you realize something. You realize you learned a lot. And the biggest thing is knowing who they are and never getting in a situation like that again. But they're still everywhere. They're still around. They're family members. They're friends. They're co-workers, right? They're everywhere, y'all. It's not going to be easy. You have to learn to walk in your true purpose in order to keep this out of this darkness. It's not going to be easy. It was never supposed to be easy. And sometimes, what do we feel like? We just don't deserve this, right? How did we get into this? God knew what you were going to do before you got here. He knew what your purpose was. That's why he gave it to you. And a lot of us, we still just get like, why? Right? We don't understand it. But when you're chosen, nothing comes easy. Everything seems to be a fight. Everything seems to just be like, you go through the toughest situations. And you would think after all you've been through, it would get easier. Oh no, it gets harder. It gets so much harder along the way. And you can do right by everybody. You can be good to people. You can try to talk to people. You can try to spit them knowledge. Let them know what's happening, right? Because you want to see people grow. You want to see people level up. But guess what they want? They want to tear you down. Y'all, a lot of the world is surrounded in nothing but darkness. We are surrounded in darkness. And this is why it's important to walk into your light. You got to stay lit. You have to. And when you've been with a narcissist and you've been through so much abuse and you've gone through so much hell, you feel like what I'm saying right now is just like, wait, what? Yeah, that's what it is, y'all. You have a purpose. And walking into your purpose is the most important part of dealing with narcissistic abuse. It's no easy win. You can't just up and get through this. It's not easy. You know, sometimes I used to wonder, like, when people would tell me things like, you have a different calling, Yolanda, you have a purpose. It's something you're supposed to be doing. You're anointed. This is why you go through so much. Y'all, I used to look at people like, what are you talking about? I'm human just like everybody else. The people around me don't seem to be going through what I'm going through. What are you talking about? I had to get educated and realize something. We're not the same, y'all. We're not all created the same. We're not all designed the same. Of course, we're all human, but we're not all designed the same, y'all. We're just not. Some of us have a true calling on our lives. And until you do what you've been called to do, guess what? All hell is going to break loose until you find out who you really are and what God has called you to do. Until you're doing it, until you're walking in your purpose, until you realize your worth and why you're here, it's going to always be an issue. You're never going to understand until you get to this point. And after being with the narcissist, you realize a lot. You learn a lot. You learn that you do have a purpose. Because listen, when you've been with the narcissist, you've been through hell, you've walked through hell, you've fought in hell, and you've gotten out, you've escaped, and all you can do now is walk in your true calling. You have to. You have to realize that there was a bigger picture on the other side, that there is light at the end of the tunnel. Y'all, it's not going to be easy at all. As a matter of fact, it gets harder as you go. And this is why people so often want to give up, but you can't give up. You can't give up. I was there. I wanted to give up. One time, y'all, I was like, you know what? All this walking in the purpose thing and doing all, listen, I can't do all this. This is too much. This is not even making sense, God. Make this make sense to me. Y'all, because when something doesn't make sense to me and I can't make it make sense, I just don't even want to deal with it, right? We sweep this stuff under the rug and we're like, man, this is just too much to do. And when you have a calling on your life, you're like, you see everybody around you doing what they want to do. People are having fun. People aren't isolated. People are getting out, doing what they want. And you want to be like these people. You want to get out and enjoy life. But listen, you can still enjoy life and walk in your purpose. You may not be able to enjoy life the way other people are enjoying life because guess what? You weren't called to do these things. You have a bigger calling on your life. The things that other people are doing aren't meant for you to be doing. So many people don't understand why it's so hard, but it is. And I'm going to tell you something, y'all. One thing that I have learned about when you have a calling on your life, it does not matter what you do or how you do it. Every time you stray away, every time you backslide, God is going to drag you back in. Every time. You're going to be forced to walk into your purpose. And although you do have choices, right? When you have a calling on your life, I don't think you really have a choice. I think you are forced to walk into your purpose. You have to, because everything just seems to be going downhill until you do. And this is the way that it is. This is why so many people don't understand. They turn to drugs and alcohol and things to soothe them, to kind of like maybe block them from the rest of the world so they don't feel what's going on around them. Y'all, lots of people that I know in today's world, people that I actually know personally, they use drugs and alcohol and anything that they can to soothe them from the world, to block the pain that they feel, to not have to feel anything. It doesn't help, y'all. It doesn't help. These things don't help. That temporary fix everybody's wanting to fix whatever they're going through, it doesn't work like that. When you have a calling on your life, you are going to walk into your purpose whether you want to or not. It just is what it is. Y'all, sometimes I don't even get it. I don't. Even now, just me talking about it, sometimes I just don't even get it. I used to have conversations with God like, I didn't even choose this life. Like, what is going on? Everybody seems to be doing the same thing. Why do I feel isolated? Why can't I mix with certain people? Because you were made to stand out. That's what I heard. You were made to stand out. Y'all, it's not going to be easy. If you know you're a chosen one, guess what? You might as well get to it. Because guess what? It's a hard road. It's not easy. But I promise to God it's worth it, y'all. It is so worth it. When you come out on the other side of narcissistic abuse, it's worth it. You know, I had a narcissist tell me a while back, y'all always talking about chosen ones. How do you know you're chosen? People always talking about chosen ones. And I look at the narcissist and I told the narcissist, I said, well, I know you're not chosen. Your behavior alone, the fruit that you put out alone tells me you're not a chosen one. You want to know who's a chosen one? Look at the fruit that they bear. You didn't know what a narcissist was before you ended up with one, before one tried to destroy your life, right? Because they didn't destroy your life if you came out on the other side. And I know what it feels like, y'all. I was there. I know it feels like your life has been destroyed. Like this person has just trampled all over you. I know what it feels like. I was there. But you know what? You made it out. God pulled you out. That's because you have a bigger calling on your life and you have a job to do. And until you do that job, it's going to be rough. It's going to be rough while you're doing that job. It's going to be rough after you've done that job. But it's never really over. The job that you're here for is never really over. You have an assignment. And y'all, I know. I already know how it feels, y'all. We're surrounded by narcissists. And you know what? There's nothing we can do about it. Don't let what you've been through with the narcissist change you. Don't let this ruin your spirit. Don't let this ruin your soul. Don't let this flip you all types of ways and make you feel like you hate the world, or you hate to, or you begin to even hate people, right? If you're a chosen one, you understand what I'm talking about. Because a lot of us chosen ones, we don't really care too much for lots of people, right? We've seen so much, we've heard so much, we've been through so much. We feel like we're being targeted, and you are. You're definitely being targeted. But you have to be able to rise through everything that you've been through and continue to thrive. Stay close to God. Pray. And if that doesn't work, pray harder. Y'all, I could linger on about this for so long, about how chosen ones go through the most. And that doesn't mean that we're better than anybody else. It doesn't mean that we're above everyone else. It just means that we have a higher calling. You have a job, you have an assignment. And no matter what, a job has to be done here. We're made to rise up out of darkness. And at this point, all of y'all who've been with narcissists, been through narcissistic abuse, you realize it was for a reason. There are some things you gain from being with a narcissist. You've learned that this type of evil really exists. You've never heard of a narcissist. And if you did, it wasn't the way the rabbit hole has fell deep, right? You thought a narcissist was someone who what? Loves the mirror, just loves to look, self-absorbed individual who thinks the highest of themselves, right? They never told you how deep the rabbit hole go. You never was taught this, right? You never knew something like this, so evil, actually existed. But it does. Narcissists are nothing but a bunch of embodied spirits. That's all that they are. And they've came to ruin everything. And this is why you have to walk in your calling, walk in your purpose, realize who you are, realize what you've been put here to do, and realize you're not going to have it easy. And until you're walking into your purpose, until you're doing what God has called you to do, it's going to be rough. When you figure out that you're chosen one, you see things clearer, things are going to get rough. It's going to get tough. Remember, the road is narrow. And this is why a lot of people stray away, because the road is narrow and they don't want to have to do what it takes. Listen to me. When people want to do what they want to do, when they want to take the easy road, they don't want to hear the truth. They don't want to walk in their purpose. They don't want to walk in their calling. This is too hard for some people to do. It's too much. Y'all, I was one of these people. I feel like this is way too much. How do I do this? How do I do that? By staying close to God. By making sure I understand that we're not the same here. We don't all have the same purpose. Until we realize that it's going to be rough. The closer to God you get, the easier things will become. The more you understand about you, the easier life is going to get. Now, you're going to always be surrounded by darkness, right? But at least you'll know how to rise up out of that darkness by knowing who you are, knowing what you're supposed to do, knowing your worth, knowing your purpose. Until you do these things, you'll be fighting a losing battle, y'all. I just wanted to talk to y'all about that. You guys, that is it for this video. Take the time out to like, comment, share, subscribe. Until next time.